Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you are able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, sir. We can.
Yeah, so in the last session, we talked about how we can create a tables. And if you want to create the tables, how we can do it, that we came across it. And also we have seen how we can feed the data into the tables. How we can feed the data into the tables. In order to feed the data, we need to go for three things we have gone. Like if you wanted to create it, we have seen DDL, data definition language, where we have seen create, and we have seen alter, and third we have seen drop. So this is purely related to data definition language. And apart from that, we also come across DML. This DML is used to feed the data into the tables. So we have seen insert in order to load the data into the table. And we also talked about update. If I wanted to update any record from the table, how we can update it, that we came across it. And we have seen how we can use a delete also. So in order to remove the data, if you have any wrong entries in the table, if you wanted to do it, that how we can do it, we have seen as part of the DML operations. So DML operations are important for us in order to go for feeding the data into the control tables. You are going to see what is control table or what is metadata tables as part of our data factory sessions and Databricks sessions. And the next I'm going to talk very important as a data engineer is select statement. So select statement, 100% is everyone, irrespective of the experience, everyone is going to use this. So this much important it is. So in order to talk about it, I required some table. I'm just taking a one table called employee table, which is going to have some sample data. So this sample data is going to help us to understand how we can write a SQL statement on top of it. And once that is done, I'm going to take you through one database. We are going to have a one sample database in order to do some exercises. And we're also going to come across that. We'll see with the sample databases. But initial practice that we are going to say with the department table and employee table. So two tables I'm going to use. These two tables are going to help us to understand many things. We'll see them. Now I wanted to create these two tables. Let me connect to my SQL server. This is my SQL server that we already know. In the sales DB, I wanted to do it. Right click on it to connect. So this window is going to connect to this particular server. I'm just giving the name of the server ADA and hit on connect. I have a doubt here. Like, I think we have not come across installation of SQL Server, right? SQL Server installation. Can anyone confirm? When you install SQL Server in your machine, you can use on-prem SQL Server. This is an on-prem SQL Server. We have come across cloud SQL Server. Okay, so I'm going to give one recorded session which is going to help you to install SQL Server in your machine. Just go through that steps and install so that you can do practice directly in your local machine. You can do a practice in a local machine so that you can reduce the cost. We don't need to go for cloud system, or we don't need to go for a cloud system so that we can reduce the cost. Give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so let me create it. Let's go inside the database called sales_db. If the tables are already existed in this particular place, it is going to remove them and I'm going to recreate it. I'll give the script. I'll keep the note in the class. I'll keep the note in the Google Drive. You can take a copy of that and you can feed the data. So I'm having multiple insert statements here. So these insert statements are going to help you to load the data. These statements are going to load the data into the table. I hope everyone is aware of it. With comma separator, I have a multiple select statement and multiple input statements. Multiple insert statements I'm having. And I'm not passing the names of the columns for this table. That means whatever the order is there in the table, the same order, the column value should follow. So the number of columns and the number of supplied values should be same in order to use this kind of syntax. And we have come across it, how we can do it. Now let me go and execute these statements. Sample data is going to be loaded. 12 rows were inserted. And I'm also going to create a table called department table. And feeding data into the department table. Now I have a data in both the tables. If you see these two tables, you can find here. So employee table is the top one. This data is the employee data. And this data is the department data. So most of our practice with the select statement, we can do with the help of these two tables. But you may feel that these are two are simple tables and why don't we use other tables? We're also going to come across them also. So there is a database called practice database. I'm going to take it. I'll give a use case and we are going to spend max 1 week with the SQL server and up to max, you can just think about 10 days. But every day I'm going to give one exercise in the group and you can try. And if you're not able to do it, we can connect and we can talk in the weekends. So that is the overall plan. And from next weekend, we are going to have a event practice sessions also because we are going to have more on practice, even SQL, as well as we're also going to see ADF maybe in the next, by end of the next week, we are going to resume we're going to start our Azure Data Factory. So there will be more practice. So practice sessions, we are going to have it on every Sunday. So whatever the doubts you're having or whatever the tasks that I have given, I wanted to review from everyone so that you will be clear on it. And then I wanted to show you here. This is an interview question. What is the difference between delete and truncate? What is the difference between delete and truncate? Delete 100% there will be question. It's very important. It is used to remove the data from the table with condition or without condition. I have a table. The table is having some records. Let's say column 1, column 2, and column 3. I have a records here. If I wanted to remove all the data, I can use the delete statement. We already seen in the last session. We talked about how we can use the delete statement with condition, without condition. So with condition means we have to write a where clause. We have to write a where clause to remove the data based on the condition. So delete is used to remove the data from the table based on the condition or without condition. So when we can go for with condition, when we can go for without condition, it's a matters. So when the moment to see the requirement, you can feel, is there a business requirement or is there business condition in order to remove the data from the table? So that you can feel it. And it removes the row by row. How exactly it is going to be done in the internal is, it is going to remove a row by row. So record by record is going to be removed. That means it is going to degrade the performance. So delete is not going to be recommended to remove all the data from the table. If you have a conditional based removal, if you are doing a removal based on the condition, then you can go for delete statement. Otherwise, you can go for truncate. And if the requirement demands to remove the data based on the condition, then only go with the delete statement. Whenever there is a condition, keep in mind there is a delete statement. If there is no condition, then go with the truncate statement. And next is, if the table is having identity column. So what is identity column? I'm going to show you. At this point of time, it generates the sequence numbers. Sequence numbers is going to generate 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Sequence numbers are going to be generated. If the table is having an identity column, then value will not set to 0. If you are removing all the data from the table, it is not going to set to 0. So when the moment to say identity column at the time of SCD type 1 and type 2 in data factory, I'm going to explain what is this identity column. So there, just remind me if I forget. I'm sure I don't forget it. I'll show you what happens if I use the delete statement and what happens if I use the truncate statement on table which is having a identity column. Okay, so this identity column is important for this kind of data, this kind of types. So what is SCD type 1 and type 2? We'll see that. And next is truncate. It is used to remove the data from the table without condition. Without condition, I wanted to remove it. We cannot provide the condition. We cannot use the where clause with the truncate. So that means all the data will go off. And it will be used to remove the data when you are going to implement full loading in ETLs. Wherever you are going to implement ETL processing, wherever we are going to do the ETL processing, we are going to do this truncate and loading. So when you are doing a full loading, we used to call it as a FL, full loading. If the business requirement demands to implement full loading with Azure Data Factory, then we are going to use this truncate. Or if your ETL tool, any ETL tool in the market, irrespective of it. If the business requirement demands to implement full loading, then we have to use the truncate before loading the data. So we are going to have a discussion on incremental loading and full loading at the time of data factory. If the table is having an identity column, same, I have a same identity column. If the table is having an identity column, if we use the truncate on top of it, the value is going to set to 0. So this particular statement you can see at the time of SCD type 1 and type 2 implementation in the data factory. But rest of them you can easily understand. We already seen where with the delete statement, and we cannot see with the truncate statement. Okay, so this is about your delete and truncate differences. So I have a transactions here. This you may get confusion if I talk now. Okay, so we'll talk about it. I'll tell you how we can handle the transactions. 99% we don't handle this kind of statements in general, as we are going with the next generation services. If you go with the Informatica, or if you are doing a transformations with SQL Server, then handling transactions also is important. As we are going to do the data transformation with the Databricks, we don't need to handle these transactions. The next one, very important, as I said, we are going to spend a time with the SQL. That is DQL, data querying language. Some people that is called as a DRL also, data retrieval language. 90% of the time we are going to spend with the select statement as a data engineers. as a data engineer, 100% is, if you ask me, I used to say 100% we are going to spend with the SQL Server. That is only with the select statement. And doing a insert, update, delete is just not even 5%. Only for control tables, you're going to do it. You're not going to do other than that. So if you prepare one time, that statement, you can copy and paste it for other statements. But logic wise, we are going to spend a time in this place. So we are going to have a Spark SQL. The Spark SQL is a SQL style. You can write same to same SQL code in the Databricks also. That is the beauty of Databricks. You can write as it is, 98% the same. You can fill that. So because of that reason, I wanted to spend some time with the SQL. So this DQL is used to read the data, from the table or from the tables. I have a table 1. If I wanted to read the data from the table 1, I can read the data from the table 1. If I wanted to read the data from the table 2, I can read the data from table 2. Or if I wanted to read the data from multiple tables, yes, it is possible to do it. This is table 1 and this is table 2. Your database is not going to have a single table. When you have a database, the database is going to have a multiple tables. The collection of tables or collection of objects is a database. The objects we already seen. Stored procedure is an object. Table is an object. Index is an object. A view is an object. So collection of objects together, we can call it as a database. Just give me 1 minute, guys. My battery is low. Yeah, I kept charging. Let's come to SQL here. So we are going to spend most of the time with the data querying language. So if I wanted to read the data from a single table or multiple tables, then we are going to use, I think I'm not sharing the screen. Okay, so try to understand this DQL. So DQL is very, very important for us to read the data. The complete select statement syntax I have given. This is complete select statement syntax. You have to remember this. Sometimes they may ask in the interview also. They may ask you in the interview also. So what is the complete syntax of select statement? Select from, where, group by, having, order by. This part is the basic select statement. This is a basic statement. And you can see there is a where we are going to talk about, we are going to spend some time with that, group by, having, and order by. So star represents here, the star represents all columns. The star represents all columns. And if you wanted to keep the required columns, you can keep only the required columns. If you want to keep required columns, you can keep only required columns by keeping the list of columns. The list of columns, we are going to give column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3, comma, something like that. You can write the list of columns in the select statement. So this is important. So when you write a SQL statement, you can feel whether we need to go with the star or we need to go with the list of columns. That you can feel that. And let me show you how we can write a select statement. Write a SQL statement to read the data from the table for all the columns. So if I wanted to read the data for all the columns, then I can directly go for select star from table name. You can go with the select star from table name, select and star. The star represents all columns. The star represents all columns from table name. So this is going to give the data for all the columns. This is going to give the data for all columns. So just observe select star from table name. You can see here. And if I wanted to get the specific columns, if I wanted to get the data for specific columns, as I said, we have to specify a list of columns. We have to specify list of columns. Employee number, I wanted to take the data for employee number, employee name, job, department number, and salary. So write a SQL code to read the data from the table with the specific columns, not all the columns. There are multiple columns are there. So how do you know there is a multiple columns? If you expand this table, that is employee table, expand it, expand the columns, you can find the list of columns here. You can find the list of columns. I'm having employee number, employee name, job, hire date, salary, commission, department number. I'm not taking all the columns here. I have total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns are there. But I'm giving here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 columns I'm taking. We are taking data for only 5 columns. So let's execute this one. We are going to see the data for only selected columns. Now you can see here. You can see the data for only selected columns. And from next onwards is very important. So up to here, everyone can understand as it is a basic statements, we are going to use it. As it is a basic statement, you can understand it. Now let's come to the next one that is very, very important. That is where clause. So what is this where? If you remember, as part of this, as part of update statement and as part of the delete statement, we came across where clause. So this is used to specify the condition from where you wanted to take the data. From where you wanted to take the data that you need to specify. Write a SQL statement to read the data from the employee table if the employees are working in the department number 10. I have a data in the employee table and employees are working in various departments, but I'm expecting to see the data from only the people who are working in the department number 10. So the employee may work in the department number 10, the employee may work in department number 30, 10, and 10, and so on. So I'm expecting to see the data only for department number 10. So that is known as a filtering. So data filtering. is the very important concept for data warehousing. So data warehousing means it's a big data projects. For big data projects, data filtering is the common factor that we are going to do it. So where is used to restrict the data. Why we are going to use? The where is used to restrict the data based on condition. Based on the condition, we are going to restrict it. By using this where class, we are going to write a condition. We are going to write a condition. The condition is going to return two values. The condition is going to return two values. So one is true, other is false. Every condition is going to return true values. One is true and other is false. That's what I'm saying. Condition always returns either true or false. So when this condition is going to return is when condition is going to return true is when the condition is succeeded. When the condition is succeeded, then it is going to return true. Else it is going to return false. This condition is going to return true only if it is succeeded. If it is succeeded, then it is going to return. And if it is failed, then it is going to return false. The same concept will be there in the data factory. So in that particular case, I'm not going to talk all this kind of details again. So when the moment I say we are going to restrict the data based on the condition, you should understand how condition is going to work. How condition is going to work, you should understand. You should be in a position to understand. And we can frame the condition. We can frame the condition by using this syntax. Column name, operator, and value. So we have a various operators here. Like equals is the operator, greater than is the operator, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to. So do not ask me what is this equal, greater than. We're all aware of it. All these operators from our beginning of our education, we are aware of it. So I'm not going to talk what they're going to do it. So by this time, everyone should be aware of it. So I'm not going to touch it. So where class is used to restrict the data based on the condition. Now how we are going to frame the condition? With this syntax, column name, operator, and value. Condition always going to return either true or false. Now for this particular requirement, how we can write a code? Department number equals to 10. So in order to do that, I'm just going to write a SQL statement to just observe the way I'm going to type. In the same way you have to type it. Select from which table you are planning to take the data. I wanted to take the data from the employee table, from employee. From this table, what columns you wanted to take? I can keep the required columns here, but it's going to take time taking process to type it. So it is going to slow down the session. So because of that reason, I'm going to take a star to reduce the time, to save some time for me to explain. I'm just going to take a star. The star indicates all columns. If I execute up to here, it is going to give the data for all the rows. It is going to give a data for all the rows. But I'm expecting only department number equals to 10. That is what I'm having here. I have a column called department number. This value, we should not get it. These values, we should not get it. We have to get this value and this value. That's all. Only two records are there with this condition. But if I write a select statement, it is going to give all the records. It is going to give all the records, but I wanted to take only required records. So if the business requirement demands to take only required data, then we have to use where clause, where department number equals to 10. So when the moment I say department number equals to 10, what happens here is it is going to take the data from here. This department number 10, this department number 20 will come to here. 20 is coming. 20 equal to 10. Is 20 equal to 10? Is true? It's false. Then 30 is coming. 30 is coming to here. So 30 equal to 10 is failed. I'm ignoring all of them, directly going with this record. 10 is there. So 10 equal to 10. 10 equal to 10 means condition is succeeded. So when it is written true, then that record will come into the output. So this particular record, this entire record is going to come into the output. So wherever there is a condition is matched, for those only you are going to get the data. You can see here. I'm just going to execute this statement. Now you can see the data only for department number equals to 10. You can see here. All the rows for all the columns I'm taking, where if the employee is related to department number 10. Next one, write a SQL statement to read the data from employee table. Same from employee table. If the employees are getting more than 2000 salary. So how we can write a condition? Select star from table name, that is employee, up to here it is common, where then what is the column name that you are going to take here? So we are going to take based on what? Salary. The salary here is 2000. So I wanted to take if the salary is greater than 2000. That is the condition. If the salary is greater than 2000, then I wanted to bring the data. So you have to write a condition here. This is also is a condition. So when you write any SQL statement or when you create a data factory pipeline, you need to understand the requirement. So data restriction is one of the very important, very important condition or very important requirement. So I'm going to write the condition here. The condition is salary equals to salary greater than 2000. Let's execute this. Then we are going to get, if you observe here, every record salary is greater than 2000. You can see here. You can cross verify. Here we have a less number of records, you can easily validate it. If you have a more number of records, just randomly take 5 records and just observe the data for those 5 records only. That is more enough. As a developer, that is more enough. But as a tester, as a developer, you can do up to that level. But testing team is going to take little more number of records to test it. They're going to do in different directions to test it. So that is not our job. Our job is our logic is working or not, as expected or not, we need to understand it. So that is important for us. Write a SQL statement to read the data from employees. If the employees are getting less than 2000 salary. So previously we have taken greater than, now I'm going to take the less than. In place of greater than, I'm just going to say less than. We're all aware of all these comparison operators. You can see all the salaries are less than 2000. Write a SQL statement to get the employee details. and who are working in the department number 10 and department number 20. From both of the departments, I wanted to get it. Up to here, it is common. To reduce the time, I'm just copy and pasting. Now we need to write a where clause. How many conditions are there here? We have two conditions. Condition 1 and condition 2. Condition 1 and condition 2 I'm having. Condition 1 is department is 10. So that means department number equals to 10. That is one condition. And there is one other condition, that is department number equals to 20. So two conditions are there. So till now we have seen only one condition. Now I wanted to handle multiple conditions. So when the business requirement demands to restrict the data, we are going to have a multiple conditions. Mostly we are going to have a multiple conditions. How you are going to handle it? If I have a single condition, then I don't have any problem. If I have a multiple condition, then how you are going to handle it? If you have a multiple conditions, how you can handle it? That we are going to see. In this particular place, we have to use operators. It's not a comparison operators. They're going to be logical operators. So we have three different types of logical operators. Logical OR, logical AND, and logical NOT. So three operators we are going to have it. Now you need to understand what is this logical OR operator, what is this logical AND operator, and what is this logical NOT operator. Whenever there is a more than one condition, we are going to use these two operators. Use for multiple conditions. Only first two operators. Logical OR or logical AND. When you have a logical OR and logical AND, keep in mind there is a multiple conditions. We'll talk about this logical NOT later. But whenever there is a more than one condition in the business requirement, keep in mind there is a logical OR operator or logical AND operator. Now the question is, how do we know we need to use logical OR operator? Or how can we understand we need to use the logical AND operator? So in order to know that, you should know about what is logical OR and what is logical AND. Then you can understand what is suitable to use it. You can read out them. I'm just going to give the note wise. You just observe. When you have a condition 1 and condition 2, if the business requirement demands, my business requirement demands to satisfy both of the condition. My requirement is demanding when the moment I understand my requirement, when the moment I took my requirement, I understood that requirement is demanding to satisfy condition 1 and the requirement is demanding condition 2 also. If the business requirement demands to satisfy both the conditions, you can feel that we are going to come across multiple situations throughout our course. Wherever there is a data restriction, there will be condition or there will be multiple conditions. So if there is a multiple conditions, if the business requirement demands to satisfy multiple conditions, then we are going to use logical AND operator. My business requirement demands to satisfy condition 1 and condition 2. Or my business requirement demanding to satisfy all the conditions. If that is the case, then you can use logical AND operator. In the same way, I have a condition 1 and I have a condition 2. If my business requirement demands to satisfy either one of the condition, either this can be satisfied, this can be failed, or this can be failed, this can be satisfied, or both may be dissatisfied. But I don't care both satisfied or not. I always care is at least one condition satisfied or not. If my business requirement demands to satisfy either one of the condition, then you can use logical OR operator. If business requirement demands to satisfy either one of the condition, just keep in mind we're going to use logical OR. The reason why I'm spending this much time here is this is very, very important for data engineers. So you may feel that this is a SQL. I'm talking about concept. How we can implement this data restriction in the SQL is completely different when you compare with the data factory. So data factory is completely without coding. You can implement without coding. We are going to see that. When it comes to the SQL, it's 100% coding. You have to do these things with coding only. Even we are going to see in the data bricks also, we are going to see the data restriction. So data restriction also is 100% coding. How we can do it in a tool to tool is different. But all these things, for all these things, concept is 100% same. Concept is 100% same. So that is what I wanted to concentrate here. I'm trying to explain the concept. I'm not explaining how we can implement it in various places. Any question with the concept? Is everyone clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you have any doubt, please, you can raise, then we can understand how much you are understanding. Now, if you see these theoretical points, you can understand as I have explained. To join the multiple conditions, we have a logical OR operator or logical AND operator. Condition 1 and condition 2. In between that, you can use either you can use logical OR operator or logical AND operator. So this will be decided based on the requirement. So to satisfy both of the conditions, you can use logical AND, and to satisfy either one of the condition, we can use logical OR. I've given a definition here, logical OR. If the business requirement demands to satisfy either one of the condition, then we can use logical OR operator. If the business requirement demands to satisfy, if the requirement demands to satisfy both of the conditions, when there is a two conditions, then we can use logical AND operator. Whatever I explained, I just written here. That's all. In this particular case, I'm going to write two conditions here. The two conditions is department number equals to 10 and department number equals to 20. So between these two, we have to use logical AND operator or logical OR operator. Here we have to use logical OR operator or logical AND operator. So what it is saying, if they are working in the department number 10, if the employee is working in the department number 10, then I wanted to get it. Or if the employee is working in the department number 20 also, I wanted to see those details. That means you are expecting employees from both of the departments. I need employee details from both of the departments. If that is the case, then we are going to use logical OR here. We are going to use logical OR operator. Just observe, I'm going to keep logical OR. So SQL is not a case sensitive. You can write in uppercase, you can write in a lowercase characters. Now let's execute it. We can see. Just observe. What happens here is, I'm just trying to give little more clarity. This department number 10, department number 20 will come into this place. So 20 equal to 10. For first record, condition is failed. For first record, condition is failed. Then it will go to the next condition. Because there are two conditions are there as we're having logical OR operator. So the same value will go to the second condition also. Now 20 equal to 20. Condition is succeeded. So that means you are going to get this record into the output because condition is succeeded. Let's take the second record. 30 is there. 30 will come to here. 30 equal to 10. Condition is failed. Next 30 equal to 20. Condition is failed. So this record will not come. This 30 record also will not come. And 20 is going to come. This 20 will come because this is succeeded. And then again 30 will not come. 30 will not come. And 10 is there here. This 10 is going to come to this place. 10 equal to 10. Condition is succeeded. When the first condition is succeeded, I don't need to check the second condition. It's because I'm having a logical OR operator. So SQL understands one condition is satisfied. Then why I need to go for second condition to check? It's a waste of time. So it is going to get the record. So like that, for every record is going to be happen. So record by record, it is going to check because it is a data restriction based on the record wise. So where is used to filter the data at the record level. So detail level data is going to be filtered. So that is what I'm just trying to do here with the help of where class. Now let's execute. If I execute it, we can see only department number equals to 10 or department number equals to 20. And the next is write a SQL statement to get the employee details. If the employees are working as a salesman or working in the department number 20. So two things are asking here. The condition 1 is saying, the condition 1 is two conditions, condition 1 and condition 2. So my condition 1 is job equals to manager. Job equals to manager. Job equals to salesman. Salesman. So strings will be enclosed in a single quote. Strings would be enclosed in a single quote. Even at the time of insert statement, we came across to keep them in the single quote. And the second condition is department number equals to 20. Department number equals to 20. Now you tell me, unmute yourself, and you tell me what logical operator we are going to use here. What logical operator we are going to use?
Or
Perfect. We are going to use logical OR operator. The requirement also is saying same thing. You can feel that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here now the statement. Select star from table name, that is employee, where job equals to manager. It's a case, sorry, salesman. Or department number equals to 20. Executed. So you can validate it. The first record is going to come here. So if the either one of the condition, you can check if this condition is failed. If the first condition is failed, then definitely there will be a second condition is getting satisfied. If you see here, this clerk, the clerk is coming here. The first condition is failed. If the first condition is failed, then this value will go to the second condition, because second condition is based on the department number, not based on the same value. It's a different column and different column it is. Second condition is a different condition, different column. So 20 will come here. 20 equal to 20. Condition is succeeded. Because of that reason, this record is there in the output. So you can validate once you understand this, then you can easily validate the data at the time of working. If someone is saying this record is coming out or this record is not coming into the output, or why this record is not coming, this kind of questions you're going to get. So it is going to be filtered somewhere. So that you need to identify by doing this validation, why that record is coming in or why it is not coming in. Write a SQL statement to get employee details. If the employees are getting less than 2000 in the department number 20. Now here we have two conditions, same. The condition 1 and condition 2. Condition 1 and condition 2. Condition 1 is if the employees are getting less than 2000 salary. That means condition is based on the salary. Salary less than 2000 is one condition. And other condition is department number equals to 30. Here you have to write department number equals to 30. Now, which operator we need to use? Can anyone guess?
and
Why and?
because both conditions should satisfy.
Yes. So your requirement is demanding to satisfy both of the conditions. If the requirement is demanding to satisfy both of the conditions, I told you we have to use logical AND operator. So in this place, we are going to use logical AND operator. As simple as that. If you understand how we can frame the conditions, then you can plan how we can write a logical operator. You have to go either with logical or logical AND. You just imagine, unfortunately used OR. When you see the output, you can feel that this output is not correct. Then just go and change this from OR to AND. Then the output will come correct. So swapping from one operator to other operator will not take much time. So I'm just going to take here select star from employee where salary is greater than 2000 and department number equals to 30. So within the department number, not greater than, it is less than. Within the department number 30, I wanted to see the employees who are getting less than 2000. You can see here, all the departments, we can feel it here. All are from department number 10 on department number 30 only. First condition, one condition is satisfied. Then just concentrate on the second condition. The second condition is on the salary. Just observe, first salary 1600 is less than 2000, succeeded. 1250 less than 200, succeeded. 1500 less than 2000, succeeded. 950 less than 2000, succeeded. To validate 5 records or more enough to validate it for development point of view. So this is how we need to frame the conditions. So I'm going to give few exercises to you. I'll keep it in the WhatsApp group. Just try to write a SQL statements for that. Okay. So I'm stopping here. If you have any question, you can ask me. So practicing is very, very important for SQL because in order to work as a data engineer, SQL is equal priority we have to give. Though there is a writing a conditions, though we are writing a code 100% in the SQL, but still we have to give a priority for SQL as we are going to deal with the data. So whoever is going to deal with the data, SQL is important for them. Either it is a data analyst or data engineer or data scientist. When the moment you have a data for your role, SQL is very, very important. Clear? Any question before stopping? Okay, so if you're not having, let's see on Monday. Thank you for joining.